Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. And we're playing basically musical chairs around these parts. Because it's a Greg, but it's actually a Grev. Hi, Grev.
What's up, y'all?
How are you?
Good.
Like we said, Tepper is out the rest of this week. So today, Grev and I will be doing our normal Wednesday show. Tomorrow, I believe I'm going to try and call in to talk to Craven and Ish and Mallory because they're all out at Big 12 Media Days. So I've just been sitting over there by myself all morning.
It's
so
hopping.
I was glad when you came in. I was like, hey, someone to talk to.
It's hopping over there at Big 12 Media Days. I loved Craven's post from over there. Younger and hipper.
Oh, yeah.
Big 12.
Taken by surprise. Did you see they were handing out I texted Ish and I was like, hey, grab me a bag of that beef jerky. I guess they're sponsored by, oh man, I'm gonna look it up real fast. Jeff Jones out of Austin. He tweeted out, I want to make sure to get the brand name right. We don't have a beef jerky sponsor, do we?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Old Trapper.
Okay.
They're giving out,
It's good.
They're giving out massive bag, like a fourth a pound bag of beef jerky as like your welcome thing. So I texted Ish and I was like, yo, give me a bag of that teriyaki.
Yeah, and that'll be what we can snack on the way down to THSCA. It's coming.
It is. And you're going to ride with us.
Yep.
Last year it was me, Malpal, and Step. We were the only ones because Tepper had a friend that it wasn't his wedding. His wedding was in 2020. It got
he flew
canceled.
In, didn't he?
Yeah, he flew in from Chicago that next morning, which actually like was bad for him because his flight left at like 5:00 in the morning, like that Saturday. So he was up since like 3 a.m. and was like dead exhausted.
I know I'm riding down there with you guys, but I actually did look at flights to come home in case I have to work on Tuesday. It's super cheap.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's like $121 to come back.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
San Antonio. So I thought if I have to be back, then that's an option.
That's definitely pretty simple. So it'll be me, you, Ish, and Mallory. Tepper is driving down himself. Step is flying from Canada to DFW and then over down to San Antonio.
What a warrior.
Yeah, he told me he was like he should be there early or pretty like good time in the afternoon on Saturday, but he was like it is international travel, so we'll see about that. So hopefully Step makes it in easy. I think everyone else is good.
I wasn't able to listen yesterday. Did you break down your vacation?
We did.
Yesterday's show?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it because this was the first time Mallory was back on the show since hers as well. So we talked about it. Craven said, Craven was like, I used to be like, oh, good for people taking vacation stuff. He goes, now I just see it and I just get pissed off and I'm like, I wish that was me.
Yeah, I'm going to go on vacation at the end of July.
I
don't know.
You don't know where you're headed yet?
No, I'm like a spur-of-the-moment vacationer.
All right.
So
I was like, it's, soon.
I looked into some options over the weekend, and I'm taking my sons with me, 22 and 19, by the way.
Oof.
So you have to pick something where they can enjoy their time.
Right.
And they don't have to be bottled up with mom and dad. So
the entire time, yeah.
So it has to be somewhere that's more relaxed and they can maybe walk around and do stuff.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about them. So, like, big cities are typically out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we usually end up at the beach, but I don't know what beach yet.
What beach. Okay. So, but you're thinking beach again?
So, I mean, if any of our listeners have a beach home, hit me up.
Yeah, there you go. That's not a bad idea. We were talking, because we went to Myrtle Beach for Craig and Miss Linda's wedding, and we were talking about how Myrtle Beach gives off. I had been there once before. Erin Hardigan had not, and she was with us, but it gives off big Port A vibes.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the like the big old souvenir shops and everything. It's like those every stretch. It's all the fun colors and just a bunch of restaurants and everything kind of on that one strip. But yeah, big. We didn't see one of the. They don't have down in Port A how they have the souvenir shop with like the big shark. Like you walk through. They didn't have one of those, so they need to upgrade.
It's the vacation destination of the East Coast. Like all people in Midwest, East Coast, like Myrtle Beach has a lot of those folks coming through there. When I used to live in Ohio, Myrtle Beach was like a big vacation spot.
I bet so.
Because it's closer than Florida and you don't have to drive so far.
That's
But
fair.
I would imagine that a lot of people are using that as like a big, like where we go to the Panhandle.
Right.
Destin, Panama City Beach, those
Yep.
types of places. But I was looking into like Fort Myers and some different ones, but the drive is just so.
Yeah, I've made the drive from here, the DFW, to Daytona Beach one time. That's 17 hours. Which
that's far.
We had enough people where it worked out. We did it all in one day because there was 4 or 5 of us, so we were able to just, like, every person took basically like a 4-hour shift, and it was like, okay, if you're tired, then you can sleep on the other 10 hours that you're not driving, basically. But yeah, that one, it's a lot.
Yeah. That's a far trip. That's about how far Fort Myers is. And when they say 17 hours, that really means like at least 20, right? Because
you're stopping,
stop and eat and maybe
bathroom
even more
breaks,
than that. That's
get
like
gas.
a day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a whole day out of your.
The day
that's a whole
there
day.
would be fun,
but the day back is what
awful.
gets you. Yep. All right. Here's the theme expo.
Pickle.
Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name is Ashley Pickle. I am the executive producer of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Dave Campbell's Texan Live. We have a magazine and a website, texasfootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or listening to us on the podcast vendor, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there in like the normal captain spot is Greg Powers.
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now. Powers, thanks for joining me today. A little bit different. We're playing musical chairs a little bit this week. But today is Wednesday, July 13th, 134 days until Thanksgiving. July 13th, happy birthday to Coach Brad LaPlante, the new AD down at Hutto.
Happy birthday, Coach.
Happy birthday, Coach. This is episode 1417.
Wow.
It's a spectacular.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
We're going to hit 1,500 right during the middle of the football season.
Yeah, it is wild to go back and think about like how big of an undertaking like our 1000th show was, and then it's like it really feels like it hasn't been that long since then. So we're we're quickly approaching here. But 1417 on today's show, friends. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for a little bit of Cruton. That's why Grev is in the studio with us. We'll go through and take a look at some of the top prospects in the state in this week in recruiting. And then in the back half of the show, Powers caught up with Lake Travis quarterback Bo Edmundson at the state 7-on-7 tournament a couple weeks back. So we will hear Powers' conversation with Bo Edmundson. First, we have fresh four through the door. It was Nick Morton, Just Chad, Rob Hatterway, and Robert Legau. Welcome in, fellas. All right, let me get all of this. There's like a lot of stuff that I have open on my computer right now, so I kind of have to fiddle around with that. All right. Are we ready here?
I'm born ready for this.
You always are. I'm Ashley Pickle. That's Greg Powers, and this is This Week
in Cruton.
It is This Week in Recruiting with our recruiting insider, Greg Powers, where we take a look at some of the top prospects in the state. And realistically, most importantly, this is presented by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express.
So good.
That would hit right now.
Oh, it's so delicious.
Wednesday's just always one of those days too where it's like it's right in the middle of the week, like it's the perfect day to go out and get something.
Yeah, you want that comfort food in the middle of the week, you know, to get you powered through to the end of the week. And if you can have a little pleasure on a Wednesday, go out and get you some.
It's like that perfect boost that you need to get into like the better part of the week.
Yeah.
So it is This Week in Recruiting, presented by our good friends at Chicken Express. But first, we take a look at our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise is Brewer 2023 tight end. I think we're going to go Comorian.
Yep.
Kamorian Pimpton, 6'6", 220 pounds. This kid is unbelievable. Really stood out at the state 7-on-7. He's a DCTF 3-star prospect, and he has narrowed down his top 3 to Vanderbilt, Rice, and Colorado State. This guy was massive.
Yeah, very tall. And what I really liked about him is that he has that good tight end frame, but he moves more like a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And, there's a guy in state this year who committed to TCU, Lafayette Kiowa, who is in the same type of mold that gets a lot of attention. He picked up a lot of big offers, but I would put them up next to each other very comparably. Just kind of tells you how deep this recruiting class is. He's could possibly end up staying in state and playing for like a school like Rice, but he could also very easily end up in the SEC. Kind of talking about a guy who I feel like has been overlooked throughout the course of the recruiting process. He's very talented and really deserved to get on this list where we could talk about him a little bit more and really give credit to Fort Worth Brewer who has a lot of up-and-coming talent as well. This is a school that I really like, and college recruiters should go by there often to see the talent they have in Q.
He's really good at high pointing the ball too. Like, you can tell he definitely has a vertical. And I mean, hey, if Rice has already extended the offer to him, then that means that the kid's got good grades. There's no doubt about that, because we know that's a very big curriculum.
Well, we talked about his receiver skills, but you're seeing him here playing as a true inline tight end. I like the fact that he's a dedicated blocker at 210, 220 pounds. Just think what he could be once he bulks up to 230, 240. He's going to be a pretty versatile guy with whichever offense that he ends up playing in. I think that he is one of the more overlooked guys in this recruiting class.
Moving on now to our commit of the week. We're heading out east a little bit to the loaded, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a weaponry system that they have over there at Tyler Chapel Hill with 2023 defensive end Kevion Huddleston. 6'4", 235 pounds, and he is headed to the west of him a little bit. He committed to TCU, had a ton of offers coming in, some from the Big 12 with Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, but TCU got the nod. They're a 3-star prospect coming in at number 97 in the DCTF Top 100.
Yeah, I really like this commitment. As a matter of fact, he made his debut basically on the recruiting landscape when he was one of the DCTF Top 25 freshmen in the magazine about 3 years back, DCTF Rising, and he's continued to develop at a very high level. He was just a lanky dude back then, and now he's 6'4", in between 235, 245 pounds, and has developed into what I consider to be a versatile defensive end prospect, because he has the skills to take on blockers, the power, the long arms, sniff out the run, but he has a good first step, gets after the quarterback pretty regularly, makes plays behind the line of scrimmage. And what I really love about his game is his versatility and his ability to flip over and play offensive tackle, which is going to give him a market advantage, I think, as he transitions into college, because he's going to understand what it's like to be a good offensive lineman and how to combat that, So I love these two-way players.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we've always said, too, with TCU that when the defense is going, they're going as a team. Now, obviously, that's going to look different. It's not Gary Patterson at the helm. It's Sonny Dykes. But that's a big thing, because we know Sonny Dykes is a wizard on the offensive side of the ball. So to get a defensive end like this, you can assume will do nothing but help that defense that we just don't really know what it's going to look like.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job in this recruiting class. As a matter of fact, I kind of give credit to all of the in-state schools right now, Texas A&M, TCU, Texas Tech, all these SMU, all these Baylor, these schools are recruiting at a pretty high level, and I don't know if that's more so of what we've talked about, so much this year about how many really good prospects there are in state, but when I look at TCU's recruiting class right now, when you put Huddleston with a guy like Avion Carter, who's like a true edge rushing specialist, a guy who can really at 260 pounds play a lot of positions up front, Javion Wilcox, who flipped from Baylor, a safety from Lake Belton, who could probably slide up and play some outside linebacker. When I think about Zachary Chapman,
right,
Montana, like their defensive players are really coming together, and I thought of this as like an offensive recruiting machine, right? They were doing such a great job at SMU recruiting these offensive talents, getting transfer players in on the offensive side of the ball, and doing a pretty good job on defense too. But I love the focus that they put on the defensive side of the ball at TCU in this class, and I think that they've not only done a good job of identifying talent, they've been doing a good job of getting guys who are good football players, and Kevion Huddleston's another one in the fold.
And as we know, defense will go a long way when you start talking about the Big 12. Where this is This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Let's move on now to our underclassmen of the week, and we're pulling a little bit of a switcheroo here. You may have heard of the 2024 safety Jaden Hardy. He's coming back to Elville.
He's back.
He's back. He spent the spring at IMG Academy, but decided to come back and play for the Fighting Farmers. And this is one that they have to be excited to get back on their roster with offers from Alabama, Baylor, Florida, Oklahoma, TCU, Tennessee. I'm not even going to keep going after that. Texas A&M. I mean, this guy has everything, and this is a huge pickup back for Louisville.
The son of former Tennessee linebacker Darryl Hardy has some college pedigree. I think Jaden Hardy deserves to be mentioned in the mix as the top prospect in this 2024 class.
Oh, wow.
In state. And to me, I'm undecided on right
who?
now, like more so than any class that I've ever covered. We don't have numerical rankings in 2024 right now on DCTF because I don't know who to pick as number one.
If you're dreading when you have to make that decision.
Yeah, just like pull the curtain back a little bit. And we've had some deeper conversations with some of our friends. As a matter of fact, I chopped it up with Jason Howe for a really extended period of time as they're about to release, some of their rankings over there. And this was something that we talked about extensively. And Jaden Hardy moving back into the state and playing at Louisville, should it be in that mix? I mean, look at the explosion he has to the football. He brings all the skill sets to the table. And what I really like about him, too, is that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And bear in mind, these are highlights from 6 games. He only played in 6 games last year due to injury, and he has a highlight clip like he played in 15 games.
No kidding.
So that's how special he is, and I think he's a guy who deserves to be in the talks or in the running for the number 1 prospect overall. Man, it really is. It's really going to be a difficult.
Oh yeah, I mean, if this is just one of your options, this is 3. Like you said, he only played in 6 games. This is 3 minutes and 29 seconds, like 3.5 minutes
all
of
good plays.
Legitimate highlights, like not just normal plays, legitimate highlights. And you're right, it's the explosiveness. Also, too, when you watch him on this highlight reel, he never once has his head down. I mean, eyes are up at all time, and then he can just zoom to that ball.
Yeah, and I shout out to. I mean, let's just say this. Farmers has got to be one of the top 5.
Oh, dude, the Fighting Farmers,
right?
Absolutely, 110%. I'll wave that flag.
Okay, I'm down with that. I mean, I just had to say it. Since
we are here in Louisville.
Since we're talking about them, like that. It's one of my faves.
It's great. And I can say, too, if you've never been to Louisville, when you drive in, the water tower has Fighting Farmers across it. So if you're ever coming and you see that, then come visit us here in the DCTF
offices. You should check out a game there, too, because they have a great atmosphere on Friday nights.
Oh, yeah.
The Louisville culture runs deep with football, and it's always a lot of fun to go out there and watch a game.
No doubt. And finally, we're going to talk about our recruit of the week. We're staying in the DFW area here, going to Garland Naaman Forest to talk about 2023 defensive line and offensive lineman Marcus Deal. He, 6'4", 290, announced his top 6 of TCU, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, and USC. So Texas and TCU being those Lone Star State schools in the mix here. How are you feeling about this one?
Well, he's taken official visits to TCU, USC, and Arkansas. Texas has been a school that's been in the mix for a while now, but he hasn't used one of his official visits there. Spoke about maybe seeing that school later on, but I feel like now that he's announced his top 6 that a decision could be coming down the pipe pretty soon, or at least he has a pretty good idea of where he might want to go. Interesting factoid, or I really think that he prefers to play on the defensive side of the football. He's a two-way star at Naaman Forest. As a matter of fact, he was DCTF super team on the offensive line, but very easily could have been picked on the defensive front as well. His NFL upside may be a tad bit higher as an offensive lineman, but, I mean, you're splitting hairs, right, when you're saying that.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a guy who could very easily be an All-American candidate on the defensive front or as an offensive lineman. And he had really good comments about his Arkansas official visit.
Interesting.
And Arkansas's really been hot in the Lone Star State recently. As a matter of fact, I think that they picked up 2 commitments this week, one from Brad Spence down at Klein Forest and another from Jalen Braxton, who switched his commitment from Michigan State to Arkansas. Sorry, Mal, pal. It happened. So Arkansas's been doing pretty good in the Lone Star State. USC's been a factor, with Lincoln Riley at the helm, and they're a school that's pretty hot in recruiting. And of course, TCU is in the mix here, so they're the local option. But I mean, gun to my head, I'm going Arkansas, but I really don't
know.
I really seriously
Well, and how much does it play a factor into? Obviously, you can take a look at some of the teams that have been recruiting him, and there are holes I'm assuming there's going to be holes in some of those teams for an offensive lineman and holes in some of those for a defensive lineman.
Right.
So I guess it kind of goes on, is Arkansas the one saying, hey, yeah, you can come play on our defensive line, or that kind of thing.
Exactly. And I'm going to give you guys that are listening to this, I mean, you're our loyal followers, right? Like,
we have a Grev inside scoop.
Like, these are the things that you can look for as a recruiting expert. You can be a recruiting expert at home if you're really into this kind of stuff. But when I pull up some of his profiles, he has no predictions, right? Like, no one's went out on a limb to say where he's going to go to school at. And knowing what I know about recruiting media in the markets of TCU and Arkansas, I know that they're both dialed in, but would not pick the crystal ball or recruiting prediction unless the coaching staff had tipped them off.
Nudged them a little bit.
But USC is very aggressive,
right? Yes.
When it comes to that stuff. So if they had an inkling that he might be coming there because of the market, there would be a pick out there.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
someone
to
somewhere.
me, tea leaves here. I'm saying TCU or Arkansas just based on some little facts that I've picked up and gleaned from knowing the market so well.
I love it. This is like a detective story.
Oh yeah, well I mean it just comes naturally, right? It comes naturally to me because I know who the people are. But,
right.
If one of those picks comes in for one of those schools, you can almost take it to the bank, right? Because it's going to be a last minute type of thing, and they're going to have some recruiting insight there, and they do a really good job of covering both of those markets. They're both dialed in, so. Keep an eye on that. But since there's no pick, that kind of is actually a clue.
Yeah.
That's a clue for me. So there you go, guys. Know your recruiting markets.
There you go. A guy who always knows his recruiting markets. It is Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. You can follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout and follow Next Level Athlete at Next Level D1. Powers, stay right there because you're going to introduce the next thing.
Let's do it.
We are Texas Football Today. We are here every weekday at noon talking football in the Lone Star State. We hope you will consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. And I'm actually going to go ahead and throw up this graphic right here. If you are not one yet, you can scan that QR code or go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. We haven't shown you the covers in a little bit, so we'll bring this back up. All of our subscribers, they already have their magazine. So if you would like your magazine sent to you, because they're not going to be hitting store shelves until August. So if you want to go ahead and get that before the month of August rolls around and school starts ramping up, go ahead, scan that QR code or go to texasfootball.com/subscribe to get yours today. Also going to talk about our friends at Athletes to Athletes. Every high school athlete wants to play on the big stage. Every parent wants their child to be the best. But is making your target list of schools based on top 25 rankings really the best strategy? What about academics, location, coaching style, financial aid? There are so many factors that should be considered when selecting a college program outside of on-field performance. Our friends at Athletes to Athletes have put together a recruiting guide centered around providing a broader, more holistic perspective about what your college experience could be, complete with checklist, do's and don'ts, key strategies, and much more. This 22-page guide covers everything you and your family should know as you walk through your college recruiting journey. For a limited time, Athletes to Athletes is offering this guide for free to our audience here on Texas Football Today. Just go to athletes.com/Dave Campbell today to download your free college recruiting guide. That's athletes, TO toathletes.com/Dave Campbell. Guys, we are doing it for free. For free, you can download this. So go to that website now and you can get this for free. It will absolutely help your athletes. If you know any sort of parents that are dealing with this right now, that are going through this recruiting process with their kiddos, go ahead and send them that link. toathletes.com/Dave Campbell. All right, Powers, we have one more order of business to do today, and we're going to dial it back a couple weeks, but who did you talk to at State 7-on-7 tournament?
We caught up with Bo Edmundson, quarterback at Lake Travis High School, who's going on to play his college football at Michigan State. Great interview, and Michigan State got a good one in Bo, and as a matter of fact, they're really recruiting the Lone Star State very aggressively now, and he was the guy who kind of opened up the gate. He was the first commitment from Texas for that class.
I think it might have been Mallory Hartley, but you know, we'll see. Here's Powers' conversation with Lake Travis quarterback Bo Edmundson.
News for you this year. You made a commitment to play at the Power 5 level at Michigan State, but before we talk about that, I want to discuss, you know, your development as a player, your development as a leader at Lake Travis, which I have to say, there's some pressure on the quarterback at Lake Travis. How's it been going?
It's been going good. I really got thrusted into the position sophomore year when our then quarterback, Nate Yarnell, he got banged up in practice, and I was only a sophomore at the time. So I really had to fill that role pretty quick. Was battling out with another one of the QBs at the time. But just being able to see what it takes growing up here from other quarterbacks like Baker and Charlie Brewer and I think 12 other quarterbacks who are going to go every year. So it's just it's awesome to see what it takes to play at the Power 5 level and to lead pretty much a Power 5 high school.
Kind of assess your own game. You're from the outside looking in. I know you're probably a tape warrior as well, like to watch a lot of tape. Kind of a breakdown your spring football experience. How are you looking heading into your senior season?
Yeah, you know, spring was good. My sophomore year we didn't get to have spring ball, so my junior and going into my senior year, we really got to cherish the spring. And spring is very important, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of young guys that we're having this year. So just being able to coach them up, get them on the same page, and showing them what it takes to consistently go to the 5th round and to the state championship.
What's it like playing at Lake Travis? I always say watching Hank Carter practice is like watching professional or college level practice.
Yeah.
It's really detail oriented.
Exactly.
There's a lot of focus on every position. What's it like really actually being a guy playing for one of the best programs in the state?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, just the facilities alone that we have between our weight room, our film room, and our locker room and everything. It's just
drones flying around.
Drones flying around every practice. Yep. I mean, we have 3 angles for every play at practice and 5 for every rep in the game. So just being able to study the film and the players. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing about Lake Travis is the players that come through here. It got built with I would say the 2026 or 2006 team with Todd Reesing. That really started it off, and we just continue to build on the legacy.
All right, switching gears, Michigan State, man, you made your commitment there, verbal commitment. What was it about the Spartans program that made you feel comfortable enough that that's going to be your future home?
Yeah, you know, I've just been talking a lot with the offense coordinator, Coach Johnson, and then finally getting to meet Coach Tucker and getting up to campus. I went up there in January, and it was about 4 degrees, and I really didn't bother me that much. I loved the campus, loved the atmosphere, and, I mean, like everybody's saying, Tuck coming. So what he's building up there, it's special. We got 5 commits from the state of Texas going to play in Michigan, so that's really unheard of.
It was a great commitment from the state of Texas when you pulled the trigger, right? But momentum seems to have really been building here in the Lone Star State. Why do you feel like Coach Tuck is having so much I don't even want to use it, like his success is resounding here right now.
Yep. I really think it's the culture up there. I asked a bunch of the players like Caton Hauser, Peyton Thorne, all of them, and they say it all starts with the culture. Everybody shows up every day ready to work, ready to put in the hours, and it really showed. We went from 2 wins to, I believe, 10 or 11 wins this year, and we beat the school down the road. So that's all you can ask for.
He's already talking about Michigan victories right now. He's already getting the rivalry ready.
Yes, sir.
Bo Edmundson, Lake Travis quarterback, DCTF Hot 100 member, man. Thanks for the time. Good luck with your upcoming senior season. And, of course, we'll be watching you as you transition into college.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There he is, Lake Travis quarterback Bo Edmundson, taking the time to speak with Grev over here. And I really think you said it when you came on. We need to get you doing more interviews in that hat.
Yeah, no doubt. And I would say, like, just watching that video from Texas 7-on-7, I feel like we're in the upside down in a way. Like, every day since then's been over 100, like 105. Whether you've been in College Station or Dallas, it's been like a severe heat wave from those days until this day.
It's like when it all started.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is this might be our fault.
I hope it's not, man. I would love to have like a respite. Like 95 looks glorious.
Yes. Yeah. No kidding. We appreciate Bo Edmundson taking the time to talk with Greg Powers at the State 7-on-7 tournament. It's time for final thoughts, and we want to remind you, Friday, big day. Maybe not for you, but for us around these parts, our premiere of WTF, Women Talking Football, with myself and my associate producer, Mallory Hartley, will be having our first episode. Typically, the show will air at 2 o'clock on Thursdays, but we're switching it for the premiere of it. We're actually going to do a TFT takeover. So wherever you're watching this show right now, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, on the website, on Twitter, come back at noon on Friday, July 15th, this upcoming Friday, and we will be doing our first hour-long special of Women Talking Football, WTF, so we hope that you will join us for that. After that, we will be heading down to coaching school, so we'll be off next Monday and Tuesday, but we have shows for the rest of the week. But first, thanks for hopping on, Powers.
You're welcome.
You ready for coaching school?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get.
That is a great way to put it. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Make sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, and of course, see all of our fine work at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to our guest, Bo Edmundson, for his time, and for Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. My name is Ashley Pickle. You want to do it? You want to do the thing?
Vince Young. Please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We won't have to hear Tepper pine for it anymore.
Yeah.
Come and get it.
Just do it.
Come and get it.
We will see you guys tomorrow on Texas Football Today.